Hi Pisces, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and this reading is for the end of May 2024. And so Pisces, what we're going to be doing is I want to get a look at what energy you're sitting in as you end the month of May, going into June. And so this will be your last reading with me until my June readings come out. And so we're going to start off by looking at what situation you're dealing with, what issues coming up for you. It could be a problem, could be a decision you have to make, could be an emotion that's coming up. And then I'm going to look at what's coming up from your shadow that needs healing. So we're going to be doing a little bit of shadow work right now. And if you're unfamiliar with the two terms shadow or shadow work, I've left a really good video that I put together for you called My Powerful 4-Step Guide for Shadow Work. And what it is, it's really about facing your own shadow. And it's going to take a deep dive into, it's about taking a deep dive into your unconscious and where all those things about yourself that you've buried that, you didn't like about yourself, or there's also some gifts buried in your shadow as well. And so we're going to look at that part because what situation you're sitting with is really having, being impacted by what's coming up for your shadow to heal, because it's not yet healed and it's sitting in your unconscious. It's kind of, it could be sometimes a pattern. Oftentimes it's a pattern that's coming up and just wanting you to heal. And until you heal it, this same situation, same pattern is going to keep coming up. And then we're going to ask the tarot for some guidance at the end. And I'll also suggest some videos for you from my channel called Carol Cares. And it's another channel I've made that has a lot of videos on there to help you with your healing journey. And so we're going to get started now. I'm going to start off with the Tarot of the Abyss by Anna Tourian. And we're going to ask the tarot for 3 cards for the 3 areas. And then I'm going to clarify that with the Rider-Waite deck if I can learn how to shuffle. These are fairly new, so they're still a little bit stiff. But that's okay. Oh, okay. Favorite black and white deck. It's my only black and white deck, but I love it. You know, when you're a tarot reader, you have so many other decks, and some of them you don't ever use, and this one I really love. So let's start off with what situation you're dealing with right now. So 1 card, please, from the tarot for Pisces for what situation they're dealing with right now. Three of Wands. 3 of Wands. And what's coming up from the shadow, what's coming up from Pisces shadow that is really having an impact on this 3 of Wands situation. 2 cards came out quickly. The 8 of Wands. 2 Wands already. Okay. Wands is all about taking your life in the direction you want to go in. It's about your purpose. And finally, what guidance does the tarot have for you? Wow, those came out easily. Obviously, wanting to move here. The Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay. I'm feeling some movement in this reading. Now let's, couple shuffles here for the Rider-Waite deck. Now these are a little bit older and they shuffle nice. Love this Rider-Waite deck just because they're just so easy to shuffle. If you are interested in tarot, I would suggest this is the one I bought right here. It's the first one I've ever bought, and I just love, I mean, they're big and they're perfect. Like, they're just really comfortable to handle, and they shuffle well. And I almost tell myself I need to buy another one just in case something happens to that one. Okay, so let's have some clarifications for the 3 of Wands here for Pisces. You have the King of Cups. And 2 more cards, please, to back that up. 3 of Wands, clarifier. you have the Five of Cups and the Seven of Wands in reverse. The Eight of Wands, clarification. Interesting, you got the 7, you got the 8, some more wands here. The Eight of Wands, some clarification for that in the shadow. Oh, that one, oh, there we go. There's 2 here. And one more, please. Okay, so, oh, no, we got 2 here. Oh, all right. Good thing I didn't continue. 8 of Wands, sorry, you know that you have that one. You have the 6 of Cups behind that. And then you have the Empress, the 4 of Wands, and the 6 of Pentacles. And let's have some, put my deck away here, I wasn't done. I've done that before. Knight of Cups, some clarification for that, please. 2 or 3 cards to clarify. It's like, okay, got 4 cards and done. Anxious to get on with your read is what it is. Oh, 10 of Pentacles. First card. How about some, couple more here? Couple more for the Knight of Cups, please. Okay, gave me 3. So you have the World card. You have the Tower card in reverse. And the 7 of Swords. Okay, so let's begin. What situation are you sitting in, Pisces? Well, you're sitting in the 3 of Wands here. So, as I said, the Wands is about, my Wand suit is about our purpose. And it's about taking our life into a direction we want to go into. And it could be something very small. Or it could be a big decision. Doesn't matter, but it's what we want to do, and that's all that matters. And so this particular individual has his wand. It's number 3 in the wands. Number 2 is where you're kind of getting a nudge that you want to do something. 3 is when you're starting. So I know you're planning something. You're planning to do something for yourself. You're planning to do something, maybe it's different, something maybe you've always wanted to do. You know, changing your lifestyle a bit, finally realizing, you know, that I really want to do this, you know, and that's where your intuition comes in. That's where that inner guidance system you have is to just kind of sit quietly with it and see. And if it keeps coming up, it's not desperate, but if it keeps kind of gently nudging you, it's usually meant to be. However, there can be a lot of resistance to when there's something that's right for you. I know that the internet will tell you that, you know what, the way that you know that something is not right for you is when all this fear kicks in, and which is not true. A lot of times, well, most of the time when we're meant to do something, it's not going to come easy. It'll come easy if it's your ego self that pushes you towards it. But if it's something that's very intuitive, and it's a quiet nudge that you've been feeling for a long time, it's the right decision. But when it doesn't always come easy to you, right? When I started this tarot channel, it was a nudge. And then I put my cards away and I didn't touch them for about a year. And then it came up again and again and again. And I had to work through a lot of memories. I have complex trauma. So I had to work through a lot of things before I could get to becoming a tarot reader. And your ego self is sitting right behind it. And your ego self, my king in all my 4 kings are your ego self. Everyone has a masculine side and a feminine side. We don't always know that or don't really believe in it, but you know, we have our ego self, and then we have, which is pretty much, you know, it's our masculine side. Pretty much everybody pretty much is in their ego. It's driving the show. And then you've got this feminine side that has these beautiful qualities that has really been repressed over the years. And she's making a comeback. But your ego self right here is what's blocking you. And it's blocking it's blocking you from, what I'm seeing is you want to do this for yourself, but you're being blocked here. There are some emotions coming up that you need to deal with. And this is always the way it is when you want to take your life into a little new direction here, where you're starting to feel there's something coming up here before you can do what you want to do. And it's the Five of Cup card. Look at this individual here. And the 5 is about conflict going on, but it's going to bring about some change in you, actually. And sometimes we got to work through this card before we can take our life in the direction we want to go in. So this particular individual. Now, the cups are all about emotions. There are these emotions that are sitting in this cup right here, these cups. And our emotions are supposed to flow like this water in the background. Every time you see water, when you have cups, there's always water around. And that represents our emotions. And there's actually a silver lining here at the end, but this particular individual has turned his back. Very much, almost, I'm going to say, like just focused on, stuck on these 3 of Cups right here. Very much focused on. And there's something here that's blocking your ability to be able to take your life in this new direction, because you're stuck on these spilled emotions here. So these could be emotions of shame. They could be emotions of unworthiness, of hopelessness, of grief. There's something here that's blocking you because you're stuck on these emotions and you can't see these other 2 cups on the side, right? That you're just stuck here. There's something that's preventing you from doing this, but it's these emotions that you're stuck in right now, and you're feeling them. And you're also feeling this right here. This is the 7 of Wands, and the Wands, again, like I said, it's all about taking your life into your new direction. And oftentimes when we want to take our life into a new direction and do something different for ourselves, there are going to be people. Here you are alone, and maybe, I'm going to say, maybe you're feeling quite lonely right now. That could be another thing that you could be stuck on, feeling very much alone. Not feeling, this is this card right here, it's not feeling supported, this individual. They're by themselves, and you have all these other wands that are coming at the bottom. So you have these people sometimes out of jealousy, out of just not liking that new you, will try to bring you back down, right? Will really try to bring you back down. But there is a part of you, because this is in reverse here. So I'm wondering if there is a part of you that is really driven, knows that there are these people that are trying to take me down. And so it could be that because it's in reverse, that you're not going to let this happen. You don't want to let this happen, and you're quite aware that this is happening right here. Or it could be that, they really have taken you down, right? This is trying to take you down, and it's like they've taken you down. And so it could be that, because very much so it could be that situation where you're just feeling so invalidated, so unsupported by people around you because of this new venture that you want to go on, this new thing you want to do. And you've become quite deflated, because you're not feeling supported around you. And this has really brought you down. And I think because you're sitting in this position right here, that tells me that, you are feeling quite deflated. So oftentimes when this situation happens to us, there is something that's sitting in our unconscious that needs to be healed. So let's look at, where this is coming from, where you've been taken down or not supported or maybe invalidated, and you're really feeling deflated right now because you want to do something here. The Eight of Wands comes up here, and it talks about, Eight of Wands again is, movement in the direction we want to go to. This eight, look at these geese here. Love this Eight of Wands. These geese know absolutely where they want to go. They know absolutely where they're going. And when they take turns here with the V formation, taking the lead, they know exactly where you're going. They're going. They have a direct route, and they're going to get there. But this is in reverse for you, and it's sitting in your unconscious. And so I'm seeing here that when you were younger, you knew what you wanted to do. There was something you wanted to do, and it was derailed. Right? These geese somehow got off track, and you ended up doing something different. You ended up not being allowed to do what you wanted to do. And maybe this thing that you want to do is what you've always wanted to do, but you're not feeling, you're just feeling deflated here. And so in your shadow, I see an incident here, incidents where you were derailed. Like I said, you weren't allowed to do what you wanted to do. And right after it comes the Six of Cups. And here's our emotions here. And this is a child giving another child, an older child, handing a cup to this younger individual here. And this particular card is a number 6. All my sixes, my 4 sixes in my deck, are represent a duality. So the duality, what this looks like is, something here, this child giving to this other child. And the opposite of that, or the side of this duality, would be receiving, giving and receiving. And so this speaks about, as a child, because this is an inner child card. And so it talks about you have an inner child. Your inner child, when you were younger, had a difficult time. Maybe you had a very difficult time receiving something, right? For some reason, this exchange of giving and receiving wasn't something that you didn't feel like you received. And it could be, we're at the cups, it could be love. So there was something here that tells me that this giving and this receiving, and it's about our self-worth too, right? So it's about, whatever you feel your worth is kind of what you're going to get back. And so there's this exchange of giving and receiving. And maybe when you were younger, you gave, but you didn't receive. And this, talks about this Seven of Wands here, not feeling supported and not feeling validated. So maybe you were very much not noticed, not validated, not supported when you were younger. And so you didn't have this giving and receiving relationship that you've learned. And the Empress card comes out next. And the Empress speaks to us about, she's in reverse here. So let's have a look at our Empress. She's the archetype. She's the feminine archetype of the deck. There are 2 of them. She's the second half of it. The first half is number 2, the High Priestess, who represents intuition, our inner guidance. She is all about getting in the body. She's all about, the Empress loves the body. She loves to get in her body. She loves to feel. She really loves to feel. And she knows what direction she's going in. She's very authentic. And she's in reverse here. And so I'm seeing here that there's a part of you that was not allowed to feel. Was not allowed to feel. You weren't allowed to express your emotions. You definitely weren't allowed to, when we're in our body, all children are in their body. They're all like, if you look at them, they're very grounded. And the Empress is also very, very grounded. And this is in reverse for you. So because you were not allowed to feel, what happens is if you expressed anger, for example, that was shut down. Because, let's face it, society sees anger as a bad emotion, but it's a very necessary emotion in a grounded way. And so there could be things like grief here that you weren't allowed to feel. So there wasn't this exchange where you were allowed or supported or validated to feel all of your emotions here. And so I think there's a real part of you that kind of shut down here. And maybe that's why you're stuck up here in this one emotion here that you're not allowed to feel. And then the four of wands comes here, another wand card of, this is the card where these two individuals have walked away from this walled city. And this is a real stable card. This is a four of wands. These two ones that normally, like to take off because they're about our purpose. They've been planted. They're stable. These individuals have broken free from this walled city that they felt like they were in, kind of like trapped in. And so I'm seeing here that this whole situation when you were younger of not being able to feel certain emotions has really made you feel like you were trapped. You were trapped in, your emotions became trapped inside of you and you weren't allowed to feel them. And when our emotions get trapped in us, they're still trapped and they need to be felt so that we can release them. And the Six of Pentacles comes up here. Another 6 here. So another duality card. This one talks about this gentleman giving these two beggars some coins, and he's going to weigh them out first. So he asks them, how many coins do you want? I'll have 3 coins. He gives them 3. The other one says, I'll have 10 coins. He gives them 10. And this card is all about, yes, there's giving here, and there's also receiving. So you have 2 cards, 2 6s right here, of that speak about giving and receiving, right? You gave, but you didn't receive. This particular card is my unworthiness card. It's the card that speaks about my worth. I feel like I'm worth this much, and this is what I'm going to get. This is all I'm going to get. And so somewhere along the line, you learned when you were younger that you had this sense of unworthiness, or and what the shadow card is saying here, what your shadow is saying here is that you've learned you've learned to give a lot and not receive. And so you may continue to be, giving and giving and giving, but just not receiving and not feeling validated and not supported, and you can't figure out why. Because you didn't get it when you were younger. And so this really talks about your unworthiness here. And this is this card right here, right? Just stuck on these emotions of feeling unworthy, right? Just it can speak of shame as well. That's what unworthiness is our shame. And just not feeling worthy of it enough, which explains why you're sitting in this 3 of Wands to start off with. This is the card where you're wanting to do something, but these feelings of unworthiness are coming in. And that's from your shadow. Maybe when you were younger, you're not allowed to do it. Or are you crazy? Are you stupid? Or maybe you are stupid because you can't do this. All these feelings that have made you feel unworthy, like you have to think about what's coming in your head. Those are your mental thoughts. Those are your swords. What's coming in your head? What are you telling yourself that's preventing you from taking your life in the direction that you want to go in? And so what's the tarot saying here? How do you heal this unworthiness that you're feeling? The King of Cups comes in, and the King of Cups comes in, and he's in reversed. He's very ungrounded. This is I talked about, actually, let's the King of Cups came up in your first row here. We talked about the King, how he's your ego self, and he's the one that doesn't touch emotions. And the universe wants you to realize that you are up in your head. This is your ego self that really is the one that's blocking these emotions that you need to get to. Like I said, the King, our ego self does not like emotions. Petrified. Our ego self is a petrified part of us, and they do not like emotions. They want to keep you in your head, because if you go back into your body here, the Empress that loves the body, that's where your emotions are. That's where all your stuck emotions are that you need to feel. And there's a part of you that's very much blocking, your ego self is blocking you from getting back into your body and feeling that shame that you need to get to, so that you can do what you want to do. Right after this ego self that's blocking things, you get this 10 of Pentacles card. And this card, if you look closely, it is a generation card, first of all. It has 3 generations on it. It has the older man here. He's full of wisdom. He's kind of got this magical coat on, right? But he's really not, he's kind of ignored. The only person that's really looks like paying attention to him maybe are these dogs. And I mean, the dogs would know that this particular man has, a lot of wisdom, experience, and here's this other generation here, and then you have this really small child. So 3 generations here. So people look at this as a generational card. Then you have this magical wand here that's leaning against the wall. No one's paying attention to this magical wand. Maybe no one realizes it's magic. And because they're stuck in here, they're kind of stuck here. But if they go beyond these walls, there's like something that's hidden from us. And in particular, like this was in reverse here. So there's something in here that's hidden from you. And the answer to this card is looking at the formation of these pentacles. There's 10 of them. And they're all like nodes on this map. It represents a map. And this is called the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. It comes from the Jewish culture, and they study these nodes, and each one is a kind of a key to finding out who they are, their roots. And so this card, when it comes up in my readings, speaks about generations, but it also speaks about generational trauma, our roots. And this is in reverse here. So I'm wondering if there really is a part of you, well, it's the ego part that's blocking you from looking at your generational trauma, because this shame or this unworthiness that was handed down to you comes from other generations, and it just gets handed down. Shame is not an emotion that it's the emotion that's causing the unworthiness. It's not an emotion that we're born with. It's something that's handed to us from generation. So I think that the ego doesn't want you to realize that, you have this generational trauma on a continuum, because we all have trauma, and shame is part of, because of some trauma that you need to look at that has made you feel unworthy. That's preventing you from taking your life to where you want to go. Because the World card sits behind this. And the World card talks about just like so many opportunities out there for you. There's so much more out there for you. But this card is like, you need to bring awareness. You need to bring awareness to this trauma. You need to heal some of this trauma. And you're going to see like your doors start opening a bit, and you're going to get some aha moments like, oh, well, I know that happened to my parents or my caretakers. And then you find out, oh, they must have been raised like that. And it was and you'll kind of start to see how things have kind of been handed down to you. And, and I think that there is, this is coming in right behind almost right behind this almost like behind the Ten of Pentacles, but there's a card away here. So the next card is the Tower card, and I think that there is something that definitely has been, it's in reverse here. So a lot of times when, you know, Tower card, first of all, in an upright position, speaks about a major event that really causes us to take our life in a different direction. And it's one of those kind of events where you kind of look back on it and you go, oh, that's where I kind of got. We talked about getting derailed here. There's something that derailed you. And so I'm wondering if there's something, some generational trauma that happened, something that happened to you. It was a Tower moment for you. And I think that the universe wants you to look at it. You may be aware of what it is. You may be quite aware of what it is, that there was something that derailed you that you need to look at. It could mean, because it's in reverse, that it wasn't a huge Tower moment, but it was big enough that it derailed you, and it's sitting in your unconscious, and it has caused this unworthiness in you. And finally, not only, you know, this Tower moment that came in that you need to look at when you were younger, it ends with the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is the Thief card, and the Thief card speaks about belief systems. Our swords are all those belief systems that we have in our head, the things that we believe about ourselves. I'm unworthy, you know, I'm stupid, or just all those unworthy belief systems that we have that were handed down to us. These are things that people told us, and it's like he's collecting them. He's inherited them. And so this is, you know, look at this individual running away with all these belief systems, these swords. He's holding them by the point. They're very, very dangerous. And so this card comes up when the tarot wants you to start to look at, what sort of belief systems do you have? What are you telling yourself? These things, these unworthy things that you've been telling, things about your unworthiness, these belief systems that other people told you about yourself. It's time for you to start to look at those. And which ones do you believe are true? Are they true? Are these things that you've been telling yourself all along, are they true? Because they're definitely blocking you from taking your life in that direction. And so there's a lot to look at here, Pisces, for yourself. And I think what I would like to do is give you a playlist on shame, because it does speak about unworthiness here. And just to start to get in touch with, you know, what is shame? Where does it come from? And do I have it? And how is it affecting my belief systems that I have about myself? So take care, Pisces, and I'll see you in June. Bye-bye.